A major investigation by the New York Times revealed that Donald Trump secured billions in crypto investments from a foreign country while simultaneously giving that country access to valuable computer chips. Then he got mad at a reporter. Also, he said the word caboose a lot. So that's the fun part. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. Trump was on his way to the United Kingdom today, and not for a state visit. He's doing study abroad. I know, it's crazy, right? Yeah, he's going to be there for 6 months, and when he comes back, he's going to start wearing a bowler hat, talking about how chuffed he is. You guys would love my flatmates, such good blokes. Big bloke, strong bloke. But before he left for the UK, Trump stopped by the gaggle of reporters on the White House lawn for his usual helicopter-adjacent yellathon and told an interesting story about meeting with a railroad executive.
So a man comes into my office, one of the biggest businessmen. I'll tell you, he runs Union Pacific. Is that big? Biggest railroad in the world, I guess. And he started off as a railroader. He was running a railroad, a little caboose. He was in a caboose. Now he runs the whole damn thing. 45 years ago, he started off in a caboose. I don't know what that's all about. And he became the top, so that's a good place to start.
I think a good place to start is, here's a story I'm going to tell you about a railroad man. Because otherwise, we're all just standing around here wondering what you're talking about and drifting toward the helicopter in hopes the blades might cut our ears off. Out of curiosity, I did some research to see if the CEO of Union Pacific had worked in a caboose, because what the do I know? And it turns out he started out as a teenage laborer maintaining tracks, and over time he worked his way up in the field to brakeman, conductor, locomotive engineer, train master, and superintendent. The guy has had the most interesting railroad career, and all Trump remembers is the word caboose. If a word is fun to say, that's the word that's gonna stick with Donald Trump. Trump probably also thinks the trains all have faces, like Thomas the Tank Engine. He probably thinks the guy he met was literally a caboose. His name is Bruno. He started off as a caboose, but then he took over from Sir Topham Hatt. Great guy, Sir Topham Hatt. He gave a lot of money to my campaign, Sir Topham Hatt. We used to hang out together at Mar-a-Lago. Anyway, it's a fun story, otherwise than it being a shame for our country. But the point is, this is how Trump thinks about business. In his mind, everything's cartoons. For example, he's also negotiating a deal to separate TikTok from Chinese control. And again, he brought up a guy with a very silly-sounding name.
I had somebody named TikTok Jack. And he put that camera, he said, just a real quick statement, sir, like 10 seconds or less.
I used TikTok in the campaign. Somebody gave me, we had TikTok Jack. I had a young guy named TikTok Jack.
TikTok Jack sounds like the title of an Australian horror movie about a ghost who sneaks into kids' bedrooms when they misbehave. He didn't eat your vegetables, so now TikTok Jack's gonna eat your toes. Also, Trump clearly likes saying the words TikTok, much in the same way he likes saying the word caboose or the words tic-tacs. Who can forget this rousing speech about inflation that led half of the country to say, yep, he's our guy.
This is tic-tacs, right? But that's what happened. This is inflation. This is tic-tac. This is tic-tac.
This is the engine, this is the caboose. Is now a good time to tell you I have an internal clock in my head that's always counting down to the next insane thing Donald Trump says, and this is what that clock sounds like?
Tic-tac, 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 tic-tac.
Or who knows, maybe I'm the one who's insane. Anyway, Trump will apparently use his in-depth knowledge of TikTok to seal the deal with Chinese President Xi on Friday.
The White House says it has reached a deal with China to keep the video-sharing platform TikTok up and running in the U.S.
The Trump administration announced it reached the framework of a deal with China, but the precise structure of that agreement is unclear. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says President Trump could meet China's leader Xi Jinping to finalize the deal Friday.
Congress passed a bipartisan bill to ban TikTok a year and a half ago, but Trump has essentially ordered his Department of Justice to just ignore the law by declining to enforce it while he tries to find another buyer. Can you imagine if Joe Biden had done the same thing? First of all, it would have taken most of his term to explain TikTok to him. All right. Okay, sir, let's try again. So you're familiar with motion pictures. Okay, they're like that, but way shorter and on your phone. I'm gonna stop you right there. It's never gonna work. Republicans would lose their minds. I mean, let's not forget, they spent Biden's entire term calling him a crime boss with zero evidence.
The Biden crime family sold out America.
The real crimes of the corrupt Biden crime family.
The Biden crime family.
There's more with the Biden crime family.
The Biden crime family.
Money that's flowed into the Biden crime family.
The corruption with the Biden crime family.
Yeah, it's the Biden crime family. Where do you think Joe Biden got all that money for Amtrak tickets and Ray-Bans? Obviously, that was insane. The only resemblance Joe Biden has to a mafia boss is that he mumbles like Don Corleone. Yeah, I made him an offer he couldn't refuse, but he refused it anyway. No joke. I said, listen up, Jack. My pop, he used to work on the railroad. He started out as a caboose. I'm not kidding around. So Republicans were very concerned about the possibility the president might have some personal financial conflicts of interest. And you know what? This might be an unpopular opinion, but I think those concerns were sincere. I think Republicans were genuinely concerned about the sanctity of our democratic institutions and how a president's ties to foreign business transactions through his family might corrode public faith in those institutions. I believe in the integrity and good faith of the Republican Party, and I know that if a Republican president had foreign business ties, they would be equally alarmed. And I'm just with you. Wow. Oh my God. Well, getting through that was not easy. Did you guys believe me? Did anybody here believe me? Did anyone here think like, oh, I think he had a massive head injury? I think he had a massive injury and now he's all up. All right. That was fun. Anyway, turns out they were full of
Tonight we're learning about two multi-billion-dollar deals involving the Trump White House, the ruling family of the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, and World Liberty Financial, a cryptocurrency business co-founded by the Trump family and the family of Steve Witkoff, a close confidant of the president who's also his Mideast envoy. The New York Times reports that in one deal, an Emirati investment firm deposited $2 billion in World Liberty Financial. Shortly after, the administration granted the UAE access to advanced AI chips.
That's right. The Trump administration gave the United Arab Emirates access to valuable computer chips, and at the same time, the Trump family got a $2 billion crypto windfall from the same country. Now, who am I to say these two things are connected? It's totally possible that Donald Trump Sr. was negotiating the chips deal while Donald Trump Jr. was negotiating the crypto deal, and they had no idea until it was time to sign the contracts, and then they both showed up at the same restaurant at the same time and said, Don, what are you doing here? I'm doing a deal with United Arab Emirates, but I'm doing a deal with United Arab Emirates. And then they both turned to the camera at the same time and said, oh boy, Donald, you've done it again. I love you, Donald Jinx. This is obvious. That took like 10 hours for us to figure that out. This is obviously ludicrously corrupt, which is why a reporter asked Trump about his business dealings today, and Trump quickly pivoted to what has recently become his favorite topic.
How much wealthier are you now than when you returned to the White House? Well, I don't know. The deals I made, for the most part, other than what my kids are doing, they're running my business. But most of the deals that I've made were made before. And that's what I've done for a life. I built building, like I'm building a building here. You know where I built? You know what? You see that area? Yeah. That is going to be the greatest ballroom anywhere in the world. It will be, I think, the finest book. So for 150 years, John, you know that they've wanted a ballroom. And now they're going to finally have it. And it's going to knock your socks off.
Stop talking about the ballroom. No one gives a about the ballroom. Prices are skyrocketing and our freedoms are disappearing all around us, and you're going on about a ballroom like a fop from Dangerous Liaisons. You think the farmers in Iowa who voted for you are sitting down for coffee at their local diner saying, well, the tariffs are killing my business, but at least the White House will finally have a place to hold fancy proms? Trump did not like the question, and he got very testy with the reporter when he found out where the reporter was from.
That it is appropriate, President Trump, that a president in office could be engaged in so much business activity. Well, I'm really not. My kids are running the business. I'm here. You know what the activity, where are you from? I'm from the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, Paul Cornyn Pro. Oh, the Australians, you're hurting Australia, right? In my opinion, you are hurting Australia very much right now. And they want to get along with me. You know, your leader is coming over to see me very soon. I'm going to tell him about you. You set a very bad tone.
What a tattletale. Also, you think you're gonna scare an Australian? They live in a country that's mostly unlivable desert. They have spiders the size of tennis rackets, but he's shaking in his boots because you're gonna tell on him? Dude went to bed every night with TikTok Jack licking his lips in his closet. He's not afraid of you. It feels like this doesn't matter, but Trump's approval is at all-time lows. It might feel like he's just getting away with all this outlandish corruption and the erosion of our rights while Democrats and the media acquiesce, but most Americans are firmly opposed to this stuff. They're counting down the days until something changes, like
Tic-tac, 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 tic-tac.
this has been A Closer Look.